Alright, so today I'm going to show you how to prep your 80cc motorized bicycle gas tank before you put it on your bike. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get your petcock, which is this, and personally I recommend taking off this little filter right here because it gets clogged real quick, and you run an external filter on the gas line, which is this, so you don't really need it, and your gas just flows a little bit better. So take that off, throw it away. Then what you're going to want to do is take your rubber washer, put that on just like that, and then what I do is I use a little Loctite on this just so it seals it and that it won't come off or get loose. Just put a little bit on there. Then you're going to want to flip your tank over, and this is where the petcock goes. It threads in right here. You're going to want to thread that in. And then 14mm wrench fits on there. You're going to want to snug it and then just kind of tighten it to where you want it. So yeah, that's how you attach your petcock. Sometimes you do have to grind this little piece down on your tank to be able to get your petcock to line up or to be tight with the switch or this little thing that turns the gas on and off on the outside. What you would do is either, I use a grinder, but you could sand it down, file it down, or whatnot if you're tightening this and it's just not lining up. So yeah, the next step is you're gonna want to take your double-sided foam sticky tape and cut off about, I don't know, 6 to 8 inches. And you're gonna put your double-sided foam sticky tape right along this channel right here that sits on your top tube of your bike. And the reason why you do this is because when you put the tank on, you don't want the tank to slip, or move back and forth, and it holds the tank onto the bike better. And you don't want to, when you put your brackets on, you don't want to make them too tight, because then these can crack down here and then these can start leaking. So after you do that, then you're going to want to take the mounting brackets that go on the bottom of the tank, and I like to put a little piece of double-sided foam sticky tape on these also. Just makes it so much better, holds the tank on better, won't slip. You don't have to cut these perfect or anything. So yeah, after you got that done, I'm just prepping this tank for now. This is what the kit comes with, four M4 nuts, and then 4 washers. Oh, there's only 3 in there. Well, it's supposed to come with 4 washers and then 4 lock washers. I don't use these lock washers because I double bolt these on. So I add 4 M4 nylon nuts. What I'll do is I'll put these on first, the washers, because I use those. Since I don't have that one, I can't put it on. I have some, I'll just put it on later. Then I put the nut on, and then I put the nylon nut on last, and that's basically how I'll mount it to the bike when it comes that time. And I will make another video of me mounting the tank to the bike eventually, so stay tuned for that. You don't have to double bolt your gas tank, but I like to double bolt the gas tank and the motor mounts just to make sure, kind of lock them together. You can use Loctite on these with the lock washer, and it does work just fine. But this is just like extra security. Alright, so after that, you're gonna wanna grab your fuel line, which is this here. Put it on your petcock. Sometimes it can be a little tricky getting it on there. A little oil on the end helps. Kind of wiggle it on until it gets on there. Push it all the way on. Then you're going to want to cut it. I usually cut mine like 2 or 3 inches. And then when you put the fuel filter on, this is very important. The magnet on the fuel filter always faces towards the tank, because if you have any metal coming out of your tank, you want the magnet to catch it. A lot of people's bikes I see, they have their fuel filter on upside down, and that's why that magnet is there, to catch metal debris out of your tank. And there's always metal debris in these tanks, so it's important. And you're gonna want to put your fuel filter on. Far as you can. And then put your fuel line on the other side, the rest of it. Now, what I like to do, just to make sure, because sometimes when this line gets old, it stiffens up or it gets loose around, you know, where the petcock is or the fuel filter, is I like to put these zip ties on here. These are just 4-inch white zip ties. Make them tight. I like to put them around each connection of the fuel line, and then one at the carburetor once you get to that point. And then, so the last one, I like to just put in the fuel line. Once I'm ready to connect the fuel line to the carburetor, then I'll take this out and I'll cut this fuel line if it needs to be cut. And then I will use this last zip tie to zip tie the fuel line to the carburetor. And yeah, so that's how I prep my gas tanks before I put them on the bikes. I've been doing this for years, and this way works really well. I've seen people use rubber here, and you can do that too. I just like to use the double-sided foam sticky tape, just because it just holds to the bike real well. Your gas tank won't be all loose and moving all over, and you don't have to tighten these studs super tight for the gas tank to be firm on the top tube of the bike. And that's very important, because if you over tighten these, then you'll get leaks on these studs, and I've seen it happen a lot of times, and it used to happen to me when I first started building bikes. And ever since I've been doing this, I rarely have that happen to me. So yeah, stay tuned. I am gonna make a lot more videos on how to prep other parts of your motorized bike kit. And yeah, thanks for watching. Please subscribe.